Okay, so let's take a look at control arms today. That L-shaped bracket you see right in front of you is the entire control arm. You're looking at the driver's side for a US car. Let's see where it's connected. Right there, that is connected to your steering knuckle, right there. That part needs to come off, and there's a bolt right under the strut. Next, there's a bolt right here. This is on your control arm, and that's your stabilizer bracket to connect to your sway bar. Then there's one ball joint right here, which connects to your front subframe, which is this right here. And the bolt that connects through is a bit of a pain, but it's up here. And then your last and final thing is your front control arm bushing, which is right there in its bracket. And that connects to the frame of the car with those two bolts, and it goes down there. So there you have it. This is where we're going to be working on today. And of course, your first step is to remove that stabilizer bracket from the control arm. It's a 16 mil. Your next step is to remove your sway bar. To do that, you undo this bracket and that bracket down there. Once that comes off, your sway bar should be free because your links are also free. With your sway bar removed, it'd be a good time to check the bushings for play right here in your ball joint. Mine is a little loose, but it should be now. Now you can see, without the sway bar, you have much more room to play around with. Your bolt is up in there, where my wrench is hooked onto. It's a 22 mil wrench, and well, it's very tight. So again, you have to use the double wrench method, which is where I hook another wrench on. And as you can see, my leverage is out here. I've essentially doubled the length. And that's how it makes it easy to break loose these bolts. Of course, you want to soak it with WD-40 or a PB Blaster or whatever lubricant of your choice. Okay, so once you get the toughest nut, which is the subframe nut, off, you have to turn your focus to the two other attachment points of the controller. Let's get to the second, the easiest one, which would be the control arm bushing bracket. It's a 17 mil, 2 bolts, and you just drive them off. Next, you have this bolt right here, this nut right here. This is a 19 mil, and as you can see, I've broken it loose, but you'll also see that it's going to hit the strut. So what you're going to have to also do is undo the two strut bolts that hold the strut to the knuckle. One right there, and one on the other side. Okay, this next part is really hard to visualize because I can't get good camera positioning, but if you hit the control arm carrier right here, like this, this is just a 3-pound mini sledge, and then if you take like a tiny screwdriver, stick it in between the subframe and control arm, and hit and pry a little bit at a time, and you will see I have some separation. So as you can see, I got the two strut bolts off. They are 18 mils and they are held on by BMW with the red Loctite, so they're going to be a little tough to get off. Once that happens, there's a alignment pin underneath the strut that connects to the knuckle, and you want to get the strut off that alignment pin, prying, hammering a little just to loosen up all that rust that's built up, and then you can finally remove the rest of the control arm ball joint nut, and then you can do the hammering method again, and it will come off. It occurred to me that you can't get the bottom part of the strut off without removing the top strut bolt because it won't pivot otherwise. So what happens is, this is an 18, it's a through bolt and it's a pinch bolt. So you take an 18 mil on the opposite side, up here, if I can aim correctly to show you where the bolt is. Looks like you can't see it because of the lighting, but it's right where my finger is there. You take an 18 there, and you take an 18 here. and you break it loose. Then what you do is you thread the nut back on until it's at the edge of the bolt, and then you take your mini sledge again and you hammer it out of the pinch because it's going to be in there too tight. Why you put the bolt nut back on is so you don't damage the threads on the bolt. Okay, as you can see, the top nut is off and the bottom ones are off too. Basically you just pry at the knuckle and shimmy everything until it pops off, and therefore once you lower it enough you can get to your control arm bolt and knock that loose. Of course you want to support everything. I'm supporting everything by the brake rotor with another jack stand. Now let me show you how I'm going to take this off. Okay guys, so this tool right here, yeah, I'm so sorry about this lighting, it's absolutely horrible, but that tool right there, let me take off my headlight and shine it. That tool, that's my Harbor Freight ball joint press tool. Basically what happens is that the top arm of it will go down and start pushing the ball joint out. It's harmless, it won't break the ball joint boot anymore. Not that it even matters because I'm getting rid of this control arm, but yep, there you go. You can also hammer at the knuckle and pry a little, just like how I showed you on the subframe. But this is my method. Since I'm already there trying to take the strut off and I'm replacing these with new Bilsteins, I've gone ahead to disassemble the strut assembly more. What you do is go into this electrical box, then you unplug the two connectors. There's a gray one and a black one. Those are your ABS and brake wear sensor pads, or brake wear sensors. Then you have to disconnect them from the holder on the strut itself. There's three things, the two wires plus your brake line. Next, you come up to here, undo these three, and basically the whole assembly drops out underneath and you take it out. Okay, so both things are out from underneath the car. I'll show you why I'm replacing the control arms. Basically, yeah, there's no resistance. Absolutely not at all. And then if you go look at this thing, yeah, there's way too much play. And it's just, let me get out the new stuff and I'll show you what the difference is. Okay, so this is the new stuff. I bought Miley HD control arms, and they come with the boot, and it's just much stiffer. As you can see, I can barely even move this little one. Here we go. Yeah. So, much stiffer. It also comes with new hardware. You always want to use new hardware when reusing this stuff. And for control arm bushings, I once again went with PowerFlex. Let's open this one. Let's see if I can figure out how to again. There we go. I went with their purple ones. So these are, I think, a 85A durometer instead of their race black ones, which are 95A. But there you go. Now continuation on how to reinstall. Since I don't have a puller or a press, what I'm doing is drilling out the bushing, as you can see. Took maybe 10 minutes. And next you have this metal sleeve, which I'm going to go take a vise, clamp this down on the vise, and hacksaw the metal sleeve until it breaks free. Because when you put on your PowerFlex bushings, you don't need to align them, you don't need to torque them, preloaded at least. So all you really have to do is get this thing prepped and ready for a power flux bushing. Again, reinstallation is the same as disassembly.